Hey guys, Zentetsu here, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review for Blade of the Immortal. Blade of the Immortal is a samurai movie which is set in like the Sengoku era of Japan, or pretty much after Sengoku era of Japan, where there's multiple dojos spread out all across the country. And in this movie, there's this man who has lost his sister, his little sister, inside of a battle he had 50 years ago. And basically, he can't die. And he's trying to help this other girl with her own personal issues, with her own revenge. It's a very powerful and moving movie, but to be honest, the best part about it is action. The action set pieces in this movie are masterfully done. They bring up the designs which I have seen in other movies like Kagemusha, like Seven Samurai, like John Wick. I've reminded of these movies when I see this film. It's very much a modern samurai movie that is made with a higher budget, with better camera work, and with special effects that allow for more flashy scenes. And that makes it really interesting because I haven't seen this kind of movie in a long time, and it's gotten me back into Japanese cinema actually quite a bit because I'm like, whoa, if they're producing stuff that's like this high quality right now, I should be like keeping on the know about this. I should really be watching this movie right now, and these characters, these actors, I really cared about it. Overall, the strengths of this movie are that it was very brutal. The action was not PG-13 at all. They showed gore, they showed blood, they showed like people getting their limbs cut off because it's a samurai movie, and they didn't do that stupid shaky cam thing that they do in some movies, movies like Transformers and other movies like G.I. Joe Retaliation. They do that stuff. Jurassic World, I know they do it occasionally. Like everything was in camera, everything was in focus, and I knew exactly what was going on. And the other great thing is this movie draws inspiration from a manga of the same name, and it's like its pacing isn't the best at sometimes, but that's only because of how it chooses to lay itself out. There's kind of all of these people that the guy has to fight, that the main character has to fight, and it's kind of like a villain of the week thing, but like each fight lasts 10 minutes, and it's him fighting some new guy, and even though he's immortal, they still make it interesting, they still make it challenging for him, and along the way he meets characters who are like much, much more powerful. I really liked how they presented this story. I really liked how they presented the villains as well. The villains were very, very interesting, complex. I really enjoyed the main villain. I'm gonna have to look his name up. Anotsu Kagehisha. This guy is an absolute badass. So basically, the story about this guy is that he's kind of like he's a dude who got kicked out from his dojo, so he's like, okay, these dojos, these people, I hate them. They kicked out like my grandfather because he had an axe and he fought in a weird way, and they're not going to accept me either, so I'm just going to kill all of them and make my own dojo. And there's not going to be any other dojo, and it's just going to be about me. And it's really interesting because what he's doing, he thinks he's right, and he has a lot of other people around him who are like, "Hey, we're misfits too. We fight for ourselves too. We fight for like what we believe in. Let's join this guy and let's crush all these other dojos." And in doing so, like he builds this kind of family, this trust relationship, but he kind of takes it too far because he kills people and then he leaves their families widowed or he leaves like children, and it's like he doesn't really have a sense of where to stop really, but he is honorable though. He will fight you one on one. He's not going to send like a million people after you. He gives you a chance before he kills you, I guess, and he only kills those people who he thinks are truly strong or truly worth the effort, and that makes him an interesting villain, unlike all these other guys who are like, ah ha ha, I'm evil and I'm gonna kill you because I'm evil. He's very, very complex, very, very interesting, and also a very sad character. Like, I feel like this character has had a lot of trauma that's been done to him, and it's explored really deeply in the movie where, like, he gets denied again and again. to start his own school. Like he thinks he's getting allowed to do it, but the government tricks him and kills all of his people. And you get to see the sadness on his face, the emotion on his face. There's a lot of really, really intense scenes that are just dedicated to him, to his character inside the movie, and that really makes it an interesting movie. But it's not just like, oh, here's the hero, we're gonna develop him, and he's gonna do stuff. It's like, oh, there's a villain, and he's like kind of similar to the hero. He's tried tragic backstory too. He's got tragic past, so they kind of like relate to each other. They bounce off each other. They form a kind of like foil essentially with each other. That's really, really interesting. Last thing I'll talk about quickly is some of its flaws. I feel like the pacing near the end of the movie kind of fizzled out a bit, and that might bother some people because they had a lot of plot threads which they kind of conveniently tied up in the last few minutes. I feel like the movie could have been maybe like 15, 30 minutes longer, maybe. They could have added some extra depth to the villains. Maybe they could have made like the switcheroo, the kind of where they kind of changed the main villain a little bit. They could have made it a bit more complex by adding more time to develop the other villains that come into the story later on. But aside from that, I think as an action movie, straight up, and as a decent story movie, this story and this movie just get a lot accomplished that I think a lot of action movies today in the modern world can learn from. And I'm really, really excited to see what else I can see in Japanese cinema this year because of this movie. If you guys like classic action movies like Die Hard, or maybe Terminator, or if you like the newer ones as well, like Jason Bourne or John Wick, I would highly, highly recommend this movie. It is an action masterpiece. I think it's a very, very well-made movie with a straightforward plot that anybody can get into, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.